I'm going to take a look at the data and say, okay, this kid's been Googled how many times? Dang. How many jerseys he sell? Dang. How much it cost me to get him? Well, it's free, sir. Where's his jersey sales? Oh, it's number one. Where is he getting Googled? He's top 3 in the world right now. Does he have a salary cap hit? No, he makes about $500,000, which is about 70 times less than your backup quarterback. Okay. Does he have a record? No, he does have a record.
From his undeniable talent to his magnetic pull to the fact that Shedor's jersey, the one with the name of the black quarterback who's defying expectations, is currently the #1 selling jersey among all rookies, even outranking higher draft picks. So that popularity, that organic connection with fans probably stings more than any stat line, because when you're taught that you're inherently superior, another's authentic success feels like a personal affront. It's not about the game. It's about the perceived order of things being disrupted.
Jimmy Haslam just pulled off something we've never seen before in NFL history. I'm talking about building a billion-dollar empire around a 5th-round draft pick. And no, that's not an exaggeration. Let me show you the facts. Shedeur Sanders isn't just making plays on the field. He's shattering every business record the league has ever tracked. His jersey sales, #1 in the world. Google searches, top 3 globally. Fan engagement, absolutely through the roof. Fans in Dubai, Ghana, and the Philippines are buying number 12 Browns jerseys like they're the hottest item on earth. Here's what's really making waves across the NFL. Jimmy Haslam, a proven billionaire businessman, just realized he's sitting on the most valuable marketing asset in football history, and it barely cost him a thing. While other owners are dropping massive money on first-round quarterbacks and gambling millions on unproven talent, Haslam landed a global superstar with a 5th-round selection. The numbers are jaw-dropping. We're about to break down exactly how one rookie quarterback is set to make his owner richer than Jerry Jones ever dreamed possible. And the warning signs? They've been there all along. You just had to know where to look.
Jimmy Haslam met with reporters yesterday, and the issue came up again of the decision to use the 144th pick in the draft in round 5 on Shedeur Sanders after they had drafted Dillon Gabriel the day before in round 3. Here's Haslam on that issue.
We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation.
Let me start with something that should immediately grab your attention. You know Chase Daniel, right? Former NFL quarterback, current analyst. Definitely not someone who jumps on every hype train. Even he had to speak up about what he was witnessing. Here's what Daniel said. "I just think that the Browns in general just didn't really help him out a lot. His pinky was really bugging him, and I just think he played pretty well for the time being." Now, why does that matter? Because when analysts who have no reason to hype up Shedeur, guys who aren't connected to Colorado, who don't follow Coach Prime, when they start speaking out, you know something real is happening. Chase even broke down game film showing Shedeur making the exact same blocks that got Drake May praised like crazy. The exact same play. But when Drake May executes it, it's called elite leadership and toughness. When Shedeur does it, crickets. The media pretends it never happened. But here's the fascinating part. While the media was busy trying to downplay Shedeur's performance on the field, Jimmy Haslam was taking a completely different approach. He was tracking real metrics: jersey sales, Google Trends, ticket sales, PSL applications for that brand new stadium opening in 2029. And what did those numbers show? Pure profit potential. Massive profit potential. Let's talk real business numbers, not guesses, not projections, cold, hard facts. Shedeur Sanders earns roughly $500,000 per year on his 5th-round rookie contract. You know who the Browns are paying $80 million guaranteed? Deshaun Watson. That's 160 times what Shedeur makes. Now, Mary Kay Cabot, the most plugged-in Browns insider in the business, just confirmed Deshaun Watson isn't going anywhere in 2026. The cap hit is too devastating. If you cut him, you absorb $80 million in dead money. If you trade him, you still eat most of that contract. So Watson's staying. He'll be the bridge quarterback, the veteran mentor, whatever role the team needs him in.
I just think that the Browns in general just didn't really help him out a lot. And I'm going to get to a lot of different plays, and I just think he...
What? What'd you say? What'd you say? You said the Browns weren't helping him out a lot.
Really bugging him. I just think that the Browns in general just didn't really help him out a lot. And I'm going to get to a lot of different plays, and I just think he played pretty well for the time being. And when you do that, and when you have certain things that you need to get to play well.
But here's the genius move Jimmy Haslam has already made. He's got 3 quarterbacks locked up under contract. Deshaun Watson serves as the expensive veteran insurance policy, Dillon Gabriel is the developmental third stringer running the scout team, and Shedeur Sanders is the future franchise quarterback earning pennies compared to his actual market value. Think about this from a pure business standpoint. Imagine you're Jimmy Haslam. You want to build the next Cowboys-level brand, right? You want that same global recognition. You want that worldwide reach. You want fans in other countries buying your team's gear. How do you get there? You could draft Jalen Milroe or Quinn Ewers and hope they become stars, or you could roll with the guy who's already a global icon, the guy who's already top 3 in worldwide Google searches, the guy whose jersey is already outselling every other player in the entire league, the guy who has Hall of Fame NBA players like Dwyane Wade getting emotional when they talk about him. Yeah, let's talk about that D. Wade moment because it matters. Dwyane Wade, 3-time NBA champion, Finals MVP, best friends with LeBron James, went on camera and said this about Shador. I love when he's in those press conferences. I love how he handles himself. I love how he stands up for herself. I love how he don't throw nobody under the bus. I love how he's a leader. Now, the analyst breaking this down said something powerful. This is a Hall of Fame basketball player. Him and D. Wade and LeBron are best friends. I ain't never heard him say that about LeBron James. I ain't never heard him get that emotional about LeBron James.
Ignore what he said at the end. Pay attention to what he said before that.
Yeah.
It's one thing if the GM has the absolute call and he walks into the room and it's time to make the pick at 144 and he says...
There's no meeting and we just say, I want this guy.
2 meetings.
Right.
What do you think the meetings were about? Consider the context. What were they meeting about? What they're going to do with the round 7 pick? No. They had a couple of meetings to talk about what they're going to do. And my guess is the first meeting was before round 4 and the second meeting was after round 4.
Yeah.
What are we going to do if he's there when we pick at 144?
Let that sink in for a second. A man who won championships alongside LeBron James is showing more emotion talking about Shador than his own teammate. Why? Because this goes beyond sports. This is about representation. This is about watching a young black quarterback handle adversity with class, refusing to throw his coaches under the bus even when the situation wasn't ideal, and still delivering when given the opportunity. And you think Jimmy Haslam doesn't see that? You think he doesn't understand the business value of having the most beloved young athlete in America on his roster? Of course he does. Here's where it gets absolutely incredible. There's documented video proof of people around the world having overwhelming reactions to Shedeur jerseys. We're not talking about regular fan excitement. We're talking about grown men getting emotional, kids singing songs about him, people in countries that don't even have established football leagues buying Browns merchandise. One person literally said, I got the new Cleveland. The new Cleveland. Like Shedeur Sanders created an entirely new franchise identity overnight. Another person, an older gentleman who clearly works a regular job, got so emotional receiving a Shedeur jersey that people wondered if it was staged by Coach Prime's marketing team. But it wasn't staged. It's completely real, and it's happening everywhere. Memphis, Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Charlotte, North Carolina. But it doesn't stop there. Netherlands, Philippines, Iceland, London, Ireland, Brazil, Mexico City, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Dubai, Jamaica, Germany, China. The analyst covering this nailed it. This is some Elvis stuff. This is some Michael Jackson stuff. This is some Beyoncé stuff. These are grown people with jobs, with 9-to-5s, acting like they just met their hero. And he's absolutely right. When's the last time you saw people react like this to Trevor Lawrence, to Baker Mayfield, to even Lamar Jackson, arguably one of the most electric quarterbacks of this generation? Nobody was losing sleep to get a Lamar jersey. Nobody was crying on camera. But Shedeur? That's a completely different level. Now, let's get back to Jimmy Haslam's business calculations, because this is where everything clicks into place. The Browns have a brand new stadium opening in 2029. You know how stadiums generate enormous revenue? PSLs, personal seat licenses. Wealthy fans pay 6 figures just for the right to purchase season tickets. And you know what drives people to buy PSLs? Star power. Winning absolutely helps. But star power, that's what fills seats year after year.
Think about it like this. A guy who has already broke some records. He just so happens to be. He just happens to be one of the most famous people in the entire world. And he just threw for 360 yards, and you saw it with your own 2 eyes. He just so happens to be sold the most jerseys of all time. And he's a 5th-round pick.
Do you think Jalen Milroe sells out a 100,000-seat stadium? Does Quinn Ewers? Does any other quarterback prospect in this draft class have even a fraction of Shedeur's global appeal? The answer is no, and Jimmy Haslam knows it. Here's the math. Shedeur Sanders earns roughly $500,000 per year on his 5th-round rookie contract. You know who the Browns are paying $80 million guaranteed? Deshaun Watson. That's 160 times what Shedeur makes.
For that price, you get #1 jersey sales in the NFL, top 3 global Google searches, viral social media moments generating billions of impressions, a fan base that stretches from Cleveland to Dubai, celebrity endorsements from NBA legends, rappers, and actors, a quarterback who can actually play, 360-plus yards in a game, multiple 300-yard performances, record-breaking statistics. Now, compare that to drafting a quarterback in the 1st round. That's going to cost you $30 to $40 million guaranteed, minimum. And there's 0 guarantee they'll be better than Shedeur. 0 guarantee they'll have his marketability. 0 guarantee they'll move merchandise. The insider breaking this down said it best. I got cheap labor, I got a product the entire world can't get enough of, and I have him under control at a cheap rate for 4 years. Why would I trade, cut, or get rid of a person like that? The answer? You wouldn't. Not if you're thinking like a businessman. Now, some of you are probably wondering, but what about Deshaun Watson? What about all that guaranteed money? Here's the thing. Mary Kay Cabot already confirmed Watson's staying in 2026. The cap hit is too severe to cut or trade him. But you know what? That's actually perfect for the Browns.
I was playing golf. They met this afternoon. I was having lunch. They've spent the time talking about it. This is what they decided to do, and I trust them to make the right decisions. That's what I want to hear an owner say.
Yeah,
That's what any fan should want their owner to say.
That's what the good owners are doing. But as we know, and from many stories from many people, the owners do get involved. They say things, whether it's about the coaching the football team or picks in the draft.
Think about it. Watson becomes the veteran insurance policy. If Shedeur needs a week off to rest that pinky injury, Watson can step in. If the Browns want to ease Shedeur into a brutal road game, Watson's there. It's the exact same strategy the Packers used with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, the exact same approach the Chiefs used with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. And you know what the analysts pointed out? Watson and Shedeur have a solid relationship. There's no conflict, no drama. Deshaun was on the sideline coaching Shedeur up during games. They showed mutual respect. Why? Because they're both young black quarterbacks who've dealt with media criticism, unfair scrutiny, and people hoping they'd fail. They understand each other's path. So you've got an $80 million backup who can actually mentor your franchise quarterback, you've got Dillon Gabriel as a serviceable third stringer, and you've got Shedeur as your billion-dollar asset on a bargain contract. That's not just smart, that's genius-level roster construction. But here's where we need to address the elephant in the room, the criticism. because there are plenty of people who don't want this to work. The media spent months trying to tear Shedeur down. He can't play in the NFL. He's not ready. His pinky injury is a red flag. The Browns should draft Jalen Milroe. All of that noise was designed to make you doubt what you were seeing with your own eyes. But Chase Daniel, again, a guy with no reason to defend Shedeur, watched the film and said the Browns didn't help him out and he still played pretty well. That's code for this kid is fighting uphill and still performing. And you know what happens when the truth starts coming out? The narrative changes. Suddenly, it's not about whether Shedeur can play, it's about whether the Browns will stick with him or draft someone new. It's about creating doubt where none should exist. But Jimmy Haslam isn't foolish. He sees the jersey sales, he sees the global fan base, he sees the viral moments, he sees Dwyane Wade getting emotional talking about Shedeur's leadership. He sees Coach Prime relaxed on the sidelines at Browns games, bringing his girlfriend, greeting ownership. You think Prime would be that comfortable if there was any uncertainty about Shedeur's future in Cleveland?
Denver's in the building. Dallas is in the building. New Jersey's in the building. Germany is in the building. Galveston, Texas is in the building. Parma, Ohio is in the building. Minnesota, shout out to the great Prince, Purple Rain, Greenwood, South Carolina, in the building. What? Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Jamaica, Kingston, Utah, Elliott City, Ellicott City, Maryland, Florida.
Here's what people don't fully grasp. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about representation. It's about culture. It's about a young black quarterback who refused to be defeated by a system that wasn't designed for his success. When Shedeur stands at that podium after games and refuses to throw his coaches under the bus, even when they gave him the wrong plays in his wristband, that's leadership. When he takes responsibility for interceptions that weren't his fault, that's maturity. When he shows up early, stays late, and earns the respect of veterans like Deshaun Watson, that's work ethic. And the world sees it. From Memphis to Miami, from London to Lagos, from Dallas to Dubai. People see themselves in Shedeur. They see someone who was told he wasn't good enough, who dropped to the 5th round, who got benched for Dillon Gabriel despite being better, and who still rose to the occasion when given the chance. That's the American dream. That's the underdog story everyone loves, and Jimmy Haslam is smart enough to capitalize on it. So here's what it all boils down to. Jimmy Haslam can either A, draft Jalen Milroe or Quinn Ewers, pay them $30 to $40 million guaranteed, hope they develop into stars, and hope they generate even a fraction of Shedeur's marketability, or B, roll with the guy who's already a global icon, who's already breaking jersey sales records, who's already throwing for 360 yards in NFL games, and who costs $500,000 a year. Which one would you choose if you were a billionaire trying to build the next Cowboys-level brand? The answer is obvious. And that's why insiders believe Shedeur Sanders has already been locked in as the 2026 starting quarterback. The decision's been made. The signs are everywhere. Jimmy Haslam saw the billion-dollar potential and went all in. Now, let's fast forward to 2029. The Browns' new stadium opens. Shedeur Sanders is in year 4 of his rookie deal, playing at an all-pro level. The stadium is sold out years in advance because of PSL sales. Browns games are must-watch television globally because of Shedeur's star power. Merchandise sales are exploding. Sponsorship deals are pouring in. And Jimmy Haslam? He's the new Jerry Jones, the owner everyone's talking about, the man who built a billion-dollar empire around a 5th-round pick. Meanwhile, Jalen Milroe is competing for a backup job somewhere. Quinn Ewers is out of the league, and all those media talking heads who doubted Shedeur, they're scrambling to revise their takes, pretending like they supported him all along. That's how this story ends, with Shedeur proving everyone wrong, Cleveland becoming the new America's team, and Jimmy Haslam counting his billions. Look, I get it. Some of you still have doubts. Some of you think I'm exaggerating, but I'm giving you the facts. Jersey sales don't lie. Google Trends don't lie. Viral videos of people around the world getting emotional over number 12 Browns jerseys don't lie. Shedeur Sanders is the real deal. on the field and off it. And Jimmy Haslam, love him or hate him, just made the smartest business decision of his life by recognizing that early. So the question isn't whether Shador will be the Browns' franchise quarterback in 2026. The question is, how much money is Jimmy Haslam about to make off this phenomenon? And based on everything we're seeing, we're talking billions. The movement is global, the phenomenon is real, and the Browns just became the most fascinating team in the football world.